viewers, today I have come with very interesting topic, that is structure of atom. The most accepted model for explaining structure of atom is Bohr's model of atom. Now, what does Bohr's model states? Bohr's model states that an atom consists of a positively charged nucleus in the center, surrounded by electrons revolving around it in specific orbits having definite amount of energy and radius. Second, it says that the electron revolving in the orbit does not loses any kind of energy along with time. And third, it states that only those orbits are being permitted in which the angular momentum of the electron is an whole number multiple of h by 2 pi. Fourth, it states that energy is absorbed or emitted only when one electron jumps from one energy level to another energy level, right? Now, for understanding completely Bohr's model of atom, we have to know about Planck's theory, Einstein theory, and de Broglie equation, and the dual nature of electromagnetic radiation. Dual nature of electromagnetic radiation means particle light behaves like particle like or and also wave like. Now, there are some characteristics of wave. We all know what are the characteristics. First is wavelength. Okay, so what is wavelength? The distance between two adjacent crests or two adjacent troughs is the wavelength, right? And second, what is frequency? Frequency is the amount of waves passing through a given point in one particular second, in 1 second, right? Third, what is wave number? Wave number is the number of wavelengths per centimeter. Means wave number is inverse of wavelength. Okay. Now let's see the given question. Here it is saying yellow light emitted from a sodium lamp has a wavelength of 580 nanometer. Calculate the frequency and wave number of this light. Okay, so first let us calculate frequency. Frequency is c by lambda. Okay, so what is c? Velocity of light 3.0 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, right? And what is wavelength given? 580 nanometer. 580 nanometer means 580 into 10 to the power minus 9 meter, right? Now, if we calculate this, what will frequency will get? 5.17 into 10 to the power 14 second minus 1. This is the unit of frequency, right? Now, let us find the wave number. What is wave number? It is inverse of wavelength, right? We have recently discussed it. Now, what is 1 divided by, what is our wavelength given? 580 into 10 to the power minus 9. If we calculate it, how much we'll get? 1.72 into 10 to the power 6 meter minus 1. This is the unit for wave number. Understood? Now let's move on to the next question. So now let's see the next question. A 100-watt bulb emits electromagnetic light of wavelength 400 nanometer. Calculate the number of photons emitted per second by the bulb. So, energy emitted by the bulb, how much it is given? 100 watt. Energy emitted by bulb. How much given in the question? 100 watt. 100 watt means, it also means that 100 joule per second, right? Now, according to Planck's theory, what is energy of one photon? Energy of one photon is given by E equal to h nu. Yes, directly proportional to frequency. It can also be written as h, velocity of light, divided by wavelength, right? Now let us put the values. For Planck's constant, the value is 6.62 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second into 3.0 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, right? And divided by wavelength. What is the wavelength given? 400 nanometer. 400 nanometer means 400 into 10 to the power minus 9 meter. So if we calculate this, how much we will get? 4.965 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule. This is energy of one photon, right? Now, what is being asked? Number of photons emitted per second. So, number of photons emitted per second will be, this much is emitted by the bulb. So, and this is energy for a photon. So, 100 divided by energy for one photon. It will give you the number of photons being emitted, right? Number of photons being emitted. So, into 10 to the power minus 19. If we calculate this, how much we will get? 2.01 into 10 to the power 20. So, these are the number of photons being emitted per second. Clear? Now, let's move on to the next question. Now, see the next question. Calculate the kinetic energy of the ejected electron when ultraviolet radiation of frequency 1.6 into 10 to the power 15 per second strikes the surface of potassium metal. Threshold frequency of potassium is 5 into 10 to the power 14 per second. So, as we know that energy of striking photon, maybe it is potassium metal here, okay, is total of binding energy plus kinetic energy of the ejected electron, right? Right? So, what is energy of striking photon? Let it be h nu. So, binding energy will be h nu naught, that is threshold energy, right? And plus kinetic energy. Okay. So, how to take out the kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is h nu minus h nu naught, or it can also be written as h is, in bracket we will take common, and nu minus nu naught. Okay. So, let us put the values. What is Planck constant value? 6.62 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second, right? And what is the frequency given? Frequency is given 1.6 into 10 to the power 15. And what is threshold frequency given? 5 into 10 to the power 14 second minus 1, right? Now, if we multiply this, how much we will get? 6.62 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second, and into 11 into 10 to the power 14 second minus 1. Now, if we multiply this, how much we will get? 7.29 into 10 to the power minus 19 joules. Okay, this is the kinetic energy of the photon. See the next question. Calculate the wave number for the shortest wavelength transition in the Balmer series of atomic hydrogen. Now, whenever we study about emission spectrum of hydrogen, we have studied about Rydberg equation, right? Rydberg equation. What is the equation? That is 1 by lambda. 1 by lambda is wave number. Yes, it is equal to R 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square into z square. What is this z? This z is atomic number of the, here hydrogen is given, so it will be 1, so no problem. And R is Rydberg constant, that is, let us put the values here, okay. For R the value is 109,677 centimeter minus 1, right. And here Balmer series is given, so N1 will correspond to 2, right. If Balmer series is given, the spectrum line comes in the visible region and N1 will be 2. So 2 square minus, and what is being asked, calculate the wave number for the shortest wavelength. If shortest wavelength is given, then N2 will correspond to infinity. Okay. Means N2, when N2 will be infinity, it will be the shortest wavelength and the largest wave number. Okay. So 1 by infinity, square you can also put, and z will be 1, no problem. So from infinity it is coming to second energy level, right. So when we calculate this, how much we will get? 109,677 divided by 4, right. 4, and when we calculate it, how much we will get? 27,419.25, right. And this is centimeter minus 1. So this is the wave number of this problem. Got it? Now let's move on to the next question. See the next question. Calculate the energy associated with the first orbit of helium plus. What is the radius of this orbit? So energy of orbit, energy of electron in the nth orbit.
কাট করে দে এটা।
So see the next question. Calculate the energy associated with the first orbit of helium plus. What is the radius of this orbit? So energy of electron in nth orbit. In nth orbit, what is the formula? Minus 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 z square divided by n square. Okay. So minus 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 for Z. What is the atomic? For helium, what is the atomic number? 2. So into 2 square divided by, for first orbit it is told, so 1 square. So what will be the answer? If we calculate it, minus 8.72 into 10 to the power minus 18 joules. Now what is radius of nth orbit? Say radius of nth orbit, how to calculate? 0.0529 n square divided by z, right? So let us put it the values. 0.0529 first orbit, so into 1 square divided by atomic number, that is 2. So if we calculate it, what will be the answer? 0.02645 nanometer. This is the nanometer. This is the radius of the orbit, and this is the energy of the electron in the nth orbit. Got it? Now let's move on. Now we have heard about de Broglie equation. What does de Broglie stated? He stated that all the material particles in motion possesses wave characteristics, right? So, how to write de Broglie equation? Lambda equal to h by mv. This is stated, and how to derive this? First, let us see how to derive this. According to Planck, what is energy of a photon? Energy of photon is directly proportional to its frequency. So, E equal to h nu according to Planck, right? And what does Einstein stated? Einstein stated that E equal to mc square, right? So let us take both these equations, and h nu will be equal to mc square. Now frequency is also equal to c by lambda, right? And mc square. Cancelling c from both the sides, what will we get next? Next, what will we get? H by lambda equal to mc, or we can also write it as lambda equal to h by mc. And for material particles, how can we write? Lambda equal to h by mv, right? So this is the equation we have got here, right? Now let us do the quantization of angular momentum from de Broglie equation. How to quantize angular momentum from de Broglie equation? It states that circumference of the orbit should be integral multiple of lambda. Circumference of the orbit means 2 pi r, should be integral multiple of wavelength, right? Wavelength of the electron, so n lambda, right? Now it can also be written as 2 pi r n. Lambda means h by mv, right? So we can also write it in another way, that is mvr equal to nh by 2 pi. So what we have understood from here, that angular momentum of electron in an orbit should be integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Clear? Now it can also be written as n equal to mvr and 2 pi by h, right? Now let us see the question. What is the question being put? Find out the number of waves made by a Bohr electron in one complete revolution in its third orbit, right? So let us find the number of waves in the third orbit. So in this, what does it denote? N denotes the number of waves. So how to calculate it? N and m vr. So 2 pi by h, 2 pi by h, right? And mvr here is, what is it? mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. Means mvr will be, for third orbit, it will be 3h by 2 pi, right? So put this value here for mvr. Put this mvr value here. Okay. So into 3h by 2 pi. Understood? Now if we cancel this, 2 pi h h. So the number of waves in the third orbit will be, n will be equal to 3. Number of waves in the third orbit is 3. Clear? Look once more. It will be very clear to you. Now let's move on to the next question. Now let's see the next question. A golf ball has a mass of 40 grams and a speed of 45 meters per second. If the speed can be measured with accuracy of 2%, calculate the uncertainty in position. So this problem is related to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. What does it state? It states that it is not possible to measure simultaneously the position as well as the momentum with absolute accuracy. How to write it in the formula? Delta x into m delta v is h by 4 pi, right? Now in another way, how can we write delta x equal to h by 4 pi into m delta v, right? So Here speed is given 45 meters per second, but it can be measured with accuracy of 2%. So let us first find out the uncertainty in speed. Uncertainty in speed. Right? So speed given is 45 meter per second. Accuracy is only 2%. So 2 by 100. And answer will be 0.9 meter per second. Right? This is the uncertainty in speed. Now we have to find out the uncertainty in position. So let us put the values. Right? Delta x will be, for Planck's constant, 0.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 kg meter square second minus 1, and 4 into pi values 3.14. What is mass? 40 grams. So 40 into 10 to the power minus 3 kg, and uncertainty in velocity, how much we have found out? 0.9 into 0.9. So if you calculate this, what is the uncertainty? 1.46 into 10 to the power minus 33. Okay, this is the uncertainty. Next question. What is the difference in the angular momentum of electron present in 2p and that present in 3p orbital? So how to measure the angular momentum? That is h by 2 pi root L in the bracket L plus 1. So this angular momentum depends only on the azimuthal quantum number, that is L. So in both we can see there is P. Azimuthal quantum number for P is 1. For here also 1 and here also 1. And the angular momentum depends only on azimuthal quantum number and not on principal quantum number. So what is the principal quantum number here? For here it is 2, and for 3p the principal quantum number is 3. So in both cases the angular momentum is the same. And another quantum number, what it is? That is magnetic quantum number. Magnetic quantum number conveys about the orientation of the orbital. So P can have 3 orientations, that is -1, 0 and +1. This denotes the magnetic quantum number. Fourth one we all know, that is spin quantum number. Okay. Now let's come to the next question. Based on Bohr-Bury's rules, arrange the following orbitals in increasing order of energy. Now, according to Aufbau principle, what we have studied, the electrons are filled in the orbitals according to n plus L rule, right? N plus L rule, right? So let us see the n plus L of all this. For 5p, how much it will be? 5 plus, for p, 1. So 6. For 4d, how much? 4 plus, for d, L is 2. So 7. Again 6. For 5d, how much? 5. D is 2, and for 7. And for 4f. 4f, how much? For f, 3. 3 is the azimuthal quantum number. So 4. Then again 7. And for 6s, then n principal quantum number is 0 and azimuthal quantum number for s is 0. So this will be 6. Now let us fill this according to the n plus L rule. When you see both values of n plus L is equal, like for 5p and 4d, both are having 6. Which one will be filled first? One having lower n. Okay, one having lower n will be filled first. So now let's see the order. Okay, so 5p is also having 6, 4d is also having 6, and 6s is also having 6. But the lowest n value is 4d. So first 4d will come. Then lowest n value is 5p. Then lowest n value is, highest n value is 6s. In 6 we have completed. Now let's come to the n plus L of 7. So the lowest n having value is 4f. So next orbital field will be 4f and higher will be 5d. Understood? This is the increasing order. Now, this we have discussed about Aufbau principle, and we have also heard about Pauli's exclusion principle. What does it states? That any orbital can feel maximum 2 electrons with opposite spins, right? And we have also heard about Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity states that any orbital of equal energy does not start pairing until each orbitals are singly filled, right? For example, for nitrogen, how can we write 1s2, 2s2? This is, I am taking example of Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, okay? 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2py1 and 2pz1. Okay, so in each 1 we have filled. Okay, but for oxygen when we fill it 1s, 1s2, 2s2, and for 2p how do we fill? Like these are the orbitals. First we fill like this 1, 2, 3. Now singly they have filled, and then we go for the next pairing starts from here. Understood? Now, there are some exceptional electronic configurations also. For example, most important exceptional electronic configuration is chromium. Chromium's atomic number is 24, right? Atomic number 24. And how can we write the electronic configuration for argon? What is the atomic number? 80. Okay. Argon 80 and 3d5 4s1, right? And for copper atomic number is 29. Exceptional electronic configuration is argon equal to 3d10 4s1. Why is it exceptional? Because see here 4s1 is being filled, and this happens because stabilization comes because of symmetrical filling of all the orbitals, and maximum exchange of energy between the orbitals. Understood? Look at it once more, and if you like this video, kindly subscribe my channel, that is Fun with Chemistry, and stay with me.